Hey, how's it going? So today I wanted to talk about the most important component for dealing with all mental health issues. So this component is understanding emotions at a really deep level. So most people really underestimate emotions and they don't realize like how deep and complex they get. And emotions are the most important thing for dealing with all mental health issues, and they contain everything within them that you need to heal. It's just a matter of understanding them and knowing how to work with them. And so because of that, I'm going to be teaching a lot about emotions on my channel. People in society really don't understand emotions. I think primarily it's because society is so materialistic, that they just dismiss emotions as being these flaky, like woo-woo sort of things that don't really matter. Like some therapists will sort of understand the importance of emotions a little bit, in the sense that they know that emotions are valid and that like you need to feel them, but they don't really go any deeper than that. They don't understand the full depth and complexity of emotions, and so they still don't see how you can heal just by working with your emotions alone. Also, I think even though society is so materialistic, there's still people who are into spirituality and things like that. But even people like that don't really understand emotions and don't really see the importance of them. I think emotions are so neglected and so ignored by so many types of people, and there's so little information on them out there, and they're just so misunderstood. And so that's like something I definitely want to teach about, and like a center point of my channel that I want to provide a ton of information about is going really deep on how emotions work and how to use them to improve your mental health. Most therapists and people in mental health, they try and solve mental health issues through logic and thinking, but the problem is that won't work. Like, I think emotions and thinking intersect a little bit, in the sense that your thoughts affect your emotions and your emotions can influence your thoughts, but they only like intersect at a surface level. They don't go they don't intersect like all the way down. Like, there's certain things with emotions that you can only heal or only work on working with emotions themselves, and no logic or information or thinking based things can affect that. This is because ultimately emotions and thinking are like two separate realms in the mind, and so they need to be approached differently. It's sort of like how if you took a solely thinking based thing, like say you were trying to solve a math problem, you could never solve that with emotions alone. And so if you take a solely emotional based thing, like a mental health issue, you can never solve that with thinking alone. They need to be approached, like you need to solve a thinking based problem with thinking and logic, and you need to solve an emotional problem with emotions. And so they need to be approached in their different ways. And the problem is people don't understand emotions, and so they don't know how to approach an emotion based problem, and they don't know what to do to solve a problem like that. And so that's why I want to teach about this kind of stuff, because everything you need to know to heal exists within the emotions, and emotions are much more complex and deep than most people think, and you don't need any thinking or logic based solutions. I think one thing that causes people to continually use thinking based solutions in mental health is that a lot of mental health issues can be solved a little bit by thinking based things, or just by other types of solutions, because thinking and emotions do intersect a little bit, but only on the surface. And so the problem with that is that because these solutions work a little bit, people think that they're like the best solution or the ultimate solution or the right solution, and so they don't try to find any other types of solutions, and they think that solving mental health issues with logic and thinking based things is the right answer. If solving mental health issues was more black and white, where either something works completely or it doesn't work at all, it would be so much simpler, and it would be much clearer that you can only really solve issues with dealing with emotions if you want to solve them at the root. But because a lot of the times things work a little bit, it's really hard to tell what's the right solution, and like people don't realize that they're not solving the issue at the root when they approach mental health issues with logic and thinking. This is what makes solving mental health issues so tricky and complex, and I want to make a separate video on this in the future because it goes really deep. So generally what therapy is based on is looking into emotions with logic and thinking and trying to solve things based on rationalizing things. For example, if you have a trauma or a traumatic event in mind, a lot of therapists will get you to go into it and try and rationalize it, or try and explain things to you or talk it out and help you feel better that way. They might encourage you to feel your emotions a little bit, but you'll never really go that deep with it just by doing that. There's certain things you have to do with your emotions to be able to access the emotions that are deep in your mind, and you'll never do that just by feeling them on the surface. That requires a deep understanding of emotions to be able to do that. Healing just with emotions can heal you way deeper than any logic or thinking based technique ever could, because emotions go way deeper in the mind than thinking does. They include different parts of the mind and bigger parts of the mind, and they just operate completely differently than logic. And so because of that, they're way more effective for healing if you know how to work with them properly. And like I said before, they're so complex and so deep, and there's so much to learn, but people like barely know anything about them. They just know the surface level stuff. So everything I said about emotions and how complex they are, this is what I'm going to be explaining on my channel and teaching about a lot. I'm going to be making a lot of videos just explaining how emotions work and giving you the overall understanding of them. And then once you get that like big picture understanding of how emotions work, it'll be easy to understand like where your emotion or where your mental health issues are coming from and what you need to do to resolve them. Emotions are a really important part of yourself and your life, and they're essential to learn about and to know how to work with if you want to resolve your mental health issues at a really deep level. Because like I said, logic can only go so far, and you cannot solve your mental health issues at the root just through logic. And so because emotions are so important, it's really important that you start to value them and take them seriously and learn about them and start to apply the things that I teach and work with your emotions properly in your life. I noticed a big lack of information on emotions out there. I've tried to do a lot of research myself through books or through YouTube videos or whatever, and there's so few good resources. Like you can find videos like talking about emotions, but most of them are so shallow and basic. There's only a couple and only a few books I found that go fairly deep into emotions, and even then, like most of the stuff that I know about emotions I've figured out just through trial and error and through contemplating them on my own. I haven't been able to find that much information in books and stuff, probably just because, like I said before, emotions are so neglected and ignored in society, and people don't value them or see their importance or like how deep they go. And so yeah, I'm excited to teach about that and give you lots of information about that kind of stuff, because I know this information like really isn't out there, and it's really important for you to learn. So yeah, that's all I have for today. Hopefully this was helpful to you, and hopefully this gives you like an idea of what I'm going to be teaching about in the future. So I'm going to be, like I said, I'll be teaching about emotions and giving you an overall understanding of them. And then once I've done that, then I'll teach you exactly how to heal and how to use them to heal emotional wounds. And so I need to build up that foundation first, and then we'll get to healing. So yeah, leave a like on this video if you liked it, comment if you have any questions or if you want to mention anything, and subscribe for more content like this if you're interested. And yeah, I'll see you in my next video.